Welcome to Immigrate. Welcome to a space where you can be vulnerable, a space where you're not going to be judged, a space where you can be authentic. And my hope and desire is to inspire and motivate everyone that click onto this podcast. So welcome to another episode of Immigrate. Trigger warning alert. If you're struggling with anything that has to do with mental health, just be mindful that these episodes might be a bit intense, and it's okay if you can't listen it right now. And as we go on, let's just pray. Heavenly loving Father, everyone that clicked onto this podcast may receive a power that and a peace of mind that is far beyond measure. In the name of Jesus, I pray that you may cover them. Whatever trigger warning that might be in their mind, remove it in the name of Jesus and help them be blessed. Help them to listen and listen with a keen heart in Jesus' name. Amen. So, welcome to another episode of Immigrate. I'm so excited. We have our wonderful guest today, and I'll let her introduce herself to you. Welcome to my podcast.
Hello, how are you? Are you great?
Can you tell my... That's great. That's great. Can you tell my audience who are you and where you're from?
So originally I'm from Poland. I left Poland when I was 23. I lived in the States in Chicago for 9.5 years, approximately around 9 years. And I moved to UK 14 years ago.
Oh, wonderful. What's your name?
Yes, and now I'm thinking about another move.
Oh, wow. What's your name? I don't think they know what you're...
Oh, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Jadwiga. Yeah, my name is Jadwiga.
Sieviga.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So you're okay. So I've never had a guest who actually probably in the process of moving to another country. So that's very interesting. So why did you move from the country that you're currently living at right now?
So
Why
from
that
Poland,
country?
the move to US, it wasn't planned to be a long-term move. It was just it was quite a difficult time to find a job, and I was studying. I needed to pay my fee and I wasn't able to pay for it. So I took a loan and I have to pay it off. But without having really job prospects enough for me to pay it off, I was able to go to the States when my father used to live. I have not had any contact with him for many, many years. He left when I was 3. So I thought it will be a great opportunity for us to maybe meet, although he wasn't a perfect dad. I thought that it was time for us to maybe, to at least get to know him and get to see for myself who he is. And I arrived in March 2011. No, 2000. Wow, which year was it? It was the year when 9/11 happened. I literally arrived 6 months before.
Oh, that's what.
I think it was 2001. And I started working. I literally have a job next day, very basic job, thanks to my friends. On the second day, I met with my father, but because I wasn't very sure about how the relationship will go, and we didn't really have any exactly good relationship at that point. I didn't know the person. Then my friends went with me as the bodyguard, and we've met in a public place in a Polish restaurant. And I think that was a time when we started communicate with each other and build that relationship. It was very rocky, to be honest, because he had a lot of mental health issues that were not addressed. But when I was throughout the years when I was living there, looking from a time perspective, I can see when he was dipping in and out the issues that he was dealing with, which was very difficult for me to see that at the time. But I was, I think, emotionally mature enough to withdraw myself from certain situation or to take a break. So I moved there. For the first 6 months, I was working at the very basic level in a warehouse, repacking Polish products that were distributed to American stores. And at the same time, I was looking for a job as every immigrant, as a nanny or a housekeeper. And I was truly lucky. Like, it makes me cry. Don't know how that happened. I landed a job. Initially, I thought, oh, we'll see. Maybe it will work out. It's not the hours that really I want, because they were picking up a single mom's son and spending time with him until she got back from work. But it was easy enough. Andrew was 10. I went for interview, got the job on the spot pretty much. I was not even interviewed by his mom. I was interviewed by her mom-in-law.
Oh, wow.
And I managed to meet her before I went back home, and I was offered the job, and I spent with them 9 years. So I left when he was 19. Yeah, so of course I wasn't his nanny when he was 19. What it turned into very quickly, that I think she saw my potential, and from being someone who's supposed to be a nanny, I became her PA. That in addition, I get to spend the time with wonderful boy in the afternoons when we would chat. We would go and, I could watch him playing hockey and doing cross country, and he became like my little brother. So they become like my family. And the real work that I was doing rather in the morning, supporting my boss, who had a very, very demanding job. So I really felt her. I would like to think I held her life together, that it has everything to do with the house and with everything else what she didn't have time for. So I was truly, truly lucky, because I've met wonderful people, and I don't know how that happened, but I think I prayed for it, and it was just the best thing that could happen to me over there. But obviously then the crisis hit, the economical crisis hit. Well, obviously I have few other jobs because I am a workaholic. And also I think one of the things that happened to you when you are in different country, what I was thinking all the time is, if I will start crying, I will never stop, because I felt so lonely. And I didn't cry for 9 years. But I became workaholic because that filled in my time and also filled my head, keeping me constantly busy. It kept me sane. And so that's one of my coping strategies when I was living there. And obviously living far away, it's like a 9 hours flight from Poland. It's not easy to come back whenever you want, to make on the spot trips back when something happens. And of course, if you have to, you do, but it's massive distance. And when you are only child, when you don't have a big family, it really takes a toll on you. But my life in Chicago was amazing, and I really wish for every immigrant to have a life like I had, and to find people that I found. But I think it's also, people come to us. I think we need to at some point make choice who we allow to stay in our lives and who we are not allowing to stay. Sometimes we get into into friendships that becoming a very toxic, and because we got used to it, we think it's normal. And it's not. And I wasn't a very good judge of that at the beginning, but throughout the years, I matured enough and I understood myself and my needs. And also, I was able to pick, or maybe, associate with people who we were good for each other. And those friendships actually last up until now. Same with the friendship from Poland. I have people I know for 40 years, for 35 years, and we haven't seen each other for 10, 11 years, and we are still friends. So I think it's one of those things that also when you are an immigrant, it is important to have friends in your home country or places where you go or where you've lived, to build those friendships. And I know it's scary because you think, I might never see you again. Yeah, I might never see you again, but knowing you are there, knowing that a part of my heart is there, that I have someone who understands, and it's part of your past that is very integral to you, and it's part of what
Yeah,
shaped you as well.
it does. Yep. Yep. I love how you go right into it because you said something very, 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 very important that a lot of people miss. That as an immigrant, that we tend to get very lonely, and we use work, because I was just like that. We use work as a way of fill that void
Void.
that we
Yeah.
sometimes that void that we have. And I'm like, because it's so hard to create friends, because as an adult it's very hard friendship. And sometimes when you're in a new country you don't know how to. So it's like, let me find another job, let me find something that will occupy my mind, as you said, to remove that void. And I
Yeah.
know how. So you use work as a way of coping. What else do you think you use as a way of coping?
You see, I was lucky enough that I was raised with a lot of hobbies, and that was a great way of continuing with my passion, which is integral part of me and make me become who I am.
Hmm.
And also that was a way of creating friendships and a space to
Right.
belong. Because one of the, you see, I used to work with troubled people with a lot of problem, and one of the reasons why people, as far as I know, obviously I'm not professional in a way, I'm not psychologist, but one of the people that drives people or individuals into addictions, into certain ways of destructive behavior is not being able to belong somewhere. Once you belong somewhere, you get
Uh,
that strength, that also the feeling of you are part of something bigger, you're not alone. And I
yes.
think we
Yes.
people who have hobbies, uh, it gives them the way of connecting with people and also filling up the time and also building your soul and being happy, because every hobby comes with the passion and with
Ye-
kind of making you feel that you are alive. And one of those things was
Mm,
I used to sail, I used to ski, and I met a lot of people who sail over there. And one of those things that I would do every week or twice a week, I would come and sail during the regatta on Wednesdays and Sundays or Saturdays. And I would meet a lot of people through there. Obviously, not all of them became my friends, but few of them became my really good friends because we came from similar background. We have similar values, similar outlook, similar, things that make us happy. So that was quite important and very helpful for me to live there as long as I've lived, um, to a point.
yeah. Fair enough. Because sometimes, when, as you said, when you have the same value system, you connect with someone so much easier, because you're like, okay, we believe in the same things, we can connect on that level. So what do you think your younger self would think about your experience? Would you think your younger self be happy with you right now, or they're like, no, I'm not?
You,
What do
s-
you think?
you see, I do have a lot of regrets, but also I do have regrets looking from this perspective. And I don't know what kind of regrets I would have not doing what I've done and sitting here, or sitting in
Yeah.
Poland and not taking the chances that
Yeah.
I've taken. And I think it's always better to take the chance than not to take a chance, even if it's will
Right.
make you will make you doubt if you've done the right thing. But
Yeah.
I've experienced enough. I've discovered a lot. I have a lot of adventures. And yes, sometimes I sit and think, would my career be in a different place? Would my family life be in a different place if I just settle in Poland or if I just stay in the States? But at some points, the States didn't feel like home. I've tried hard enough. It didn't feel like home anymore. Same with the UK. I've been here for 14 years. And I thought at some point when I bought my house, I thought I'm going to put the roots down and that's going to be my place forever. And for the last
Yeah.
few years, it doesn't feel like this. And I think it's important for me as well to make that decision. I don't imagine myself getting older here, so I do need to make a decision. I know where I want to move, but you see, the regrets I have is you don't know where your home is. You leave your heart in places where you've lived because of the people, of the things that you associate, your happiness. This amazing lake and sailing experience in Chicago, and those beautiful summer nights and their crazy winters, and my beautiful apartment I had there. And here, in the UK, I have this beautiful, absolutely stunning house that is so welcoming and warm. And that was always my dream, to create a home as warm as my family home was. And yet it doesn't feel like I want to be in that home forever. And yet when I'm going to Poland, that I stay in my room, and that doesn't feel anymore like my home. And it is a curse and it's a luck, I think, if you want to experience the world. But you have to remember that it will rip your heart apart. It will.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So with that, but do you think, like, I love that you say we can't have much regrets. But do you think your young self will be, I am proud of what the accomplishment you have made.
Absolutely, because
That's
you
good.
see, I take chances. Sometimes I should think about it, and I don't. I just go with the flow,
Yeah.
because I live with the thought that it's better to regret something you've done than regret something you haven't done. And and
Right,
then
right,
I think, what's the worst that can happen? If it's not
right.
putting my life in danger as such, it's nothing dangerous. It's nothing not worth
Yeah.
trying. So when you are older, and I hope many of us have a chance to get older, to sit down, when you're, well, maybe, the retirement age is getting higher and higher. So God knows where I'm going to be when I'm going to be 90. Am I still going to work? Because the retirement, it's going to be 90. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
But then you're going to sit, in your garden, maybe with someone next to you, and you're going to think, remember that crazy thing I've done? Remember that bold move that I've made? I'm really happy I've made that. And when you're actually listening to people, older people who give you advice on life, they said, just take the chances. Take the chances. You're gonna fail. It's life. It's not always gonna work out. Only think, what.
This ad is brought to you by Warm Vibes Custom Candle. Warm Vibes Custom Candle has mastered the art of customizing candle. They have 3 fragrances, from the Caribbean Ocean vibes, the Hawaiian beach vibes, the Canadian winter vibes, and not to mention the Canadian spring vibes. They also customize for your any occasion. You have your wedding and you need those wedding favors, they do it. You have your lovely dinner and you need those pillar candles on your dinner, on your table. They have all the candle you need. Just hit them up on Instagram at Warm Vibe Custom Candle, on their website at www.warmvibes.ca, on Facebook at Warm Vibes Custom Candle. Yes, they do it all. They do it from wedding, they do for your baby shower. And their newest addition is their Hidden Secret candle, where you can hide some cute messages inside that candle and create a lovely message for your guests. I did said it. This candle company has learned the art of taking you to that vacation spot. So whether you want to have a very fancy, luxurious home ecstatic, just bring Warm Vibes Custom Candle into that, and it brings everything. It brings the vibes, it brings the aroma, it brings everything. Gives you that reggae music, it gives you that chill Hawaiian feeling that you don't want to leave when you're in your house. So don't you worry if you have never been on a vacation. This candle, Warm Vibes Custom Candle, will surely make you never, or make you feel like you have been on that vacation spot. So check them out again at warmvibes.ca. That www.warmvibe.ca.
what is such a cliche, it's yeah, every bad scenario is your life lesson. To be honest, I'm really fed up with that. I'm really fed up. I think sometimes I don't want a lesson. I don't want another lesson. I've proved enough
That's right.
so many
I
times.
agree.
I
Oh
mean,
my
the
god.
universe, seriously, just give me flipping break sometimes, you know? I've proved enough. I'm
I
strong. I can
know.
decide. I can get myself. I can start my life from literally zero 3 times. That's where I have to, because when I came to UK, no one cares about my CV and what I've done. I had to go and work in a warehouse for a year and a half because no one just care. And I have to make my way up again, change my career, working completely different job that I've worked before. That I work in the States, that I've done so many things. But you just have to do what you need to do. And then when you have options, yes, you can pick. But life is not pretty in pink. It's not. And
No,
I
it's
think we
not.
need to accept that. And sometimes it's going to be bad, sometimes it's going to be good. But every experience is, no, most of experience are worth living through, but sometimes it gets too much and you have a right to be fed up and angry and pissed off and saying that life is not fair, because life is not fair.
It's not. It's not. I love how plain and transparent you are with that because it's not. It's not. And sometimes we tend to feel like that and we feel so guilty that we deserve it. A lot of times, just not fair. Thank you for sharing your story. It's so beautiful. It's like, man, you're just speaking into me because it's so important that as we understand these things, but with you sharing so much good advice so far, what else tips would you share with an immigrant that's listening to us and saying, it's so rough. I don't know what to do. I'm so fed up. Like, what else would you share? Like tips or advice to them? Like two more tips
For
that you.
I would say just know what you want eventually. Take any opportunity, and it make you feel like sometimes you're going backwards, and sometimes you do have to step backwards to get what you want. And don't be afraid, it's not like a kick in your ego. Sometimes we do have to backtrack. We do. And to reset, sometimes we need time to reset. Sometimes we just need to take a breather, take a break, and think what you actually want to do, because sometimes we're too stubborn going for what we think is good for us. And the
Yeah.
circumstances giving us the reality check. I came to England. I thought I'm going to do this. No, I have to reset my whole plan. And because I think I felt like I failed, but actually it wasn't a fail. I just needed to retract. I needed to start from the bottom. And I think it's not being afraid to start from the bottom. And another thing that is very, very important, when you have good friendships, when you have good people in your life, don't let them go. Don't,
Mm,
because
it's true.
they are your they are your spine when you are not able to use yours. And don't be afraid to ask for help, because I know, like, I'm very bad with asking for help, and I was like, I can do it by myself. And then I'm thinking, who am I
Yeah.
trying to prove how strong I am? I've already
That's
proven enough time. And sometimes, and that's what I'm telling my friends as well, because I do have a friend who's very, very bad with asking for advice. And I said, just let people help you, because it helps them as well. They want to feel needed. And you are taking that chance away from them when they are really, truly, honestly want to help you. And then you're
mm,
thinking about yourself, and they are starting to question themselves, why she doesn't want my help? What's wrong with me? Just accept the help
mm.
and ask for help. I think those are.
You should become a I hope you have a motivational speaker as part of your long-term goal because you have been pouring into me. There's so much wisdom that you have shared. Oh, I would listen to you the whole
No,
day.
thank you.
I wish you was like, oh, so what else? What was your spiritual journey like? How did you think your spiritual journey has helped you in these two
I
different
think it
countries?
did, because I am not very religious as such, but I do find, you see, I wish I would see the goodness in everything and I would that elevated emotionally and mature. I'm not. I do see life as it comes and I'm not negative. I'm very realistic. However, I do also believe in things that happen for a reason. And sometimes we don't know and we don't see that reason straight away. And I think and sometimes I give up and sometimes I think, oh, you know what? I don't see the reason. I don't want it to happen. And then I have the strength to go back and think maybe that was the way it's supposed to be. But I think I'm giving myself break as well from thinking, that's shit. I don't want it to happen. And I don't
Mm.
the strength to believe in I don't have the strength to believe that there is a reason for it right now because I don't want it to happen. However, you see, I do believe in law of attraction and law of consequences, law of I don't even know if that exists, but I do believe in that law of consequences that if you make a certain step, there things will happen, and if you would have make a different step, something else would happen, although outcome might be the same. But I do believe in energy. I do believe that we meet people. And I think that part of me being very, very connected to myself, I'm able to recognize things that are not good for me or they have a potential. Not good with reading people yet. Sometimes, they can fool me. However, my gut,
Yeah.
I need to start believing my gut a little bit more. But
Mm-hmm.
everything that happened in my life so far, it was needed. And I find my job. At some point I sat down and I asked, and I didn't know what job I want, but I believe it will happen because it's not like I was desperate, but it needed to happen. I was ready for it and it happened. Same with moving to UK. I didn't end up move to UK was, I think, one of the worst thing that could happen to me. With that thing, I'm still trying to find a reason why it happened because I ended up in a very toxic domestic violence relationship for 5 years that literally ran me through to the ground. And
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm still trying to figure out why it happened because I was already strong and I didn't need to be run to the ground to build myself again. But I'm happy
Mm-hmm.
now. I'm content. I'm finding happiness in life. And I think that, having that outlook on just maybe not accepting the life as it is, making the life a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
consciously
Mm.
trying to find happiness, but also being aware that life 90% of time not going to make you smile or laugh every day. You're not going to be happy
Mm.
every day because life is real. We don't live in a social media. We're being, and I think that's one of the things that we discuss with my friends, people from younger generation, because they're being so, there's so much feed about happy life, about all this fake, they expect that. And then when they have reality check, it's really, really, really damaging. But life is just,
Mm-hmm.
if you have one happy day a week when you laugh till your belly hurts, you're lucky. Otherwise, it's just life. And it's important to see little things. And, I love going for walks. I do hang out with a lot of people as well who um, help me to heal as well. And I do always end up knowing people who are healers. My mom is a healer, although she wasn't aware consciously about it, but she always
Mm-hmm.
make our animals live for years longer than they were
Mm.
predicted to live.
Yeah.
So I always navigate towards people with deeper spiritual soul.
Yeah. Um, I think you should think about using a platform where you share these deep. You have a way of putting. I'm speaking into. I don't know why I'm doing this, but you have a way of putting information together and you pour into someone. I want to cry because you have been pouring into me. I don't know if you have thought about going into sharing your story online, but you should. The way you put your words and the things that you're saying, people need to hear that because one of the big trend that we've seen online, and you just touch on it, is the soft life. I don't know why that is. I'm from the 90s. I'm a 90s baby, and I'm not that old. But understanding of the soft life and having my brother who was born in the 20s, and then when you talk to them about life, they don't understand. They think that everything must be easy, everything just come easy to you because social media predict it that way. And then when life hits them really hard, everything just start coming down. And that's one of the things I think why we have so much mental health problem and so much people suicidal and doing so many things because this terminology of soft life. I'm about the soft life. I'm not saying that we can have something easy, but you said something so profound. And I hope you one day you say, "Hey Tasha, I'm having a podcast," or "Hey, I'm doing this." Because what you're saying on this podcast is so valuable. Because you said if you have one happy day in a week, it's one of the best things because life is tough. And understanding that as a person make you want to see life. It's like marriage. It's like if you have one good week of good marriage and no argument, it's like the best thing ever because
Yeah.
these two people coming together from two different backgrounds. We are, we do our like I mean, I'm newly married, so I always put things back into
Yeah.
marriage. It's like two people coming together, two different backgrounds. They were raised completely different.
Yeah.
And here you are putting these two people together to try and make them into one person. It is impossible. It is so impossible to do. And the way that you have said it so profoundly and so like non-judgmental, this is the reason I create my podcast because I would not have found persons like you who so plain because at the end of the day, people need to hear that we're not gonna always have it easy. It's so fake. There is no easy to nothing. If you don't have, it doesn't mean that if you it's the end of your life either, but it's
No.
part of life and what it is, how life is. And I just want to thank you because you've been one of the realest person I've had. Is like she's saying so much truth because at the end of the day, we are social media alone make it seem so fake and so unrealistic of what life and
Yeah.
is.
Beside that, it was amazing pleasure to speak to you. And I think the most important thing is take the chances, but don't think that life is easy. The life is real. That's what it is. And yes, sometimes it feels like we don't have a control over our life, and that's true. We don't. Things happen to us that we cannot really make any difference to it. And there are times when we just have to. You see, when I was going through that relationship, when I realized that, I just knew that if you're going through a mud, keep going, because if you stop, you're gonna get it pulls you down. So you cannot. You just have to keep going, no matter what it is. And now I look back and I would say, I don't know how I've done it. I don't know. Because if someone would tell me you will go through it and you will survive, I would not believe it. I wouldn't have strength. But you go because you have no choice, and sometimes you don't have any choice. You just have to move forward. And yeah, you take your rest, but move forward. And I'm not talking about the good scenario, I'm talking about best scenario, because it happens to everybody. And sometimes it's good to admit we don't have energy to do that. But on the other hand, please remember everything is temporary. The good things and the bad things, they are temporary and they will pass.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep repeating myself, but I don't know, but I think you need to. Do you have a podcast? How can people find you?
No, I don't.
How can people find? No, how? So this is your time to start. How can people find you? Because I will just put your info in the show notes of what I want to listen to her every day.
I
Your
have an
your
idea. How about we meet again? We'll choose a subject and we'll have discussion.
that I would love that. I would love that. So we just want to end this
Yeah.
because we will continue talking. She's so wise, and I just want to thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on here. Your breath of fresh.
Thank
We'll
you.
just thank you, everyone, for listening to that wonderful interview. It was such a delight. If you want to hear more inspiring episodes like these, please to follow us on our Instagram at Immigrate. We'll be uploading all the videos, all the short clips of it, and you can find me in my email at heslop.tashagay13@gmail.com. That is heslop.tashagay13@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to another great episode of Immigrate.